Hello Kindred, welcome back. Today's video, we're doing this. Now I don't usually do tutorial videos because there are a plethora of other YouTubers who will do it way better than I can, but I thought today I could just share with you the controller settings that I'm using, but mainly explain the settings to some of you may be confused by the graph and the description because they are a little bit they're not exactly the clearest to understand. The goal of this video is by the end of it, you'll be able to fine tune your settings to suit you. Settings are a bit of a funny one, aren't they? Because everyone wants the perfect settings, and I don't believe that the perfect settings exist because everyone's different. I'm really heavy thumbed, for example, and you might not be. So copying my settings exactly might not get you the same results, but the main thing is trying to explain these these new advanced settings that Sharkmob have implemented in the game, and get the controller to feel good for you, and then you can go out there and slay and win solo games as well. And I will ask, if you do get anything out of this video and it is helpful in any way, just hit the like button for me for the algorithm, it'd be much appreciated, and drop me a comment, let me know how you get on. If you want to message me directly, you can follow me on Twitter, you can ask me specific questions, and we can go into detail on what needs to change in your settings to help you out. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on with what I know you're here for, yeah? Alright guys, welcome back in. In today's video, I wanted to try my best to explain the new controller settings that Sharkmob have implemented in the game for those who may have found them a little bit confusing and didn't know what they were changing or what all of the graphs meant or anything like that. There are no magical settings that are going to be perfect for everyone. Settings are completely subjective, but today I'll give you the settings that I've found myself landed on, and I'll show you some gameplay of me doing some bits with it. But the point of today is to try and get some settings for you that doesn't make your aim feel completely out of control. Now, it's taken me quite some time to nail down some comfortable settings where I'm both effective at like the ranges that I like to fight in and able to move around quick enough. And as a precursor to that, I'm very heavy thumbed, and that means I need a much lower sense. So for those of you who are a bit more precise with your thumb movements, you can bump up the sense. But anyway, let's get into these settings. So with these settings changes, guys, we're going to use the horizontal and the vertical look sensitivity as our like master gauge, and everything else is going to be tweaked so that when you need to bump something up, you can just come up here and move this up. This is the theory, okay? Right, so I've got my horizontal sense at 8 and my vertical at 5. This is because the game seems to favor vertical sensitivity, and I'd find myself like coming up and down off target. Very weird. I don't know why it does that. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's intentional, but I've had to have the horizontal way higher than I put the vertical. Dead zone I've got at 0.05. You want to have that as low as possible so you don't get stick drift. And also it does negate very fine inputs on the analog stick, so that needs to be as low as possible for everything else to work. With input curve, I've gone with the S curve, and if we look over at the description, Sharkmob have put S-curve. Small and large stick movements have more precision at the cost of less precision on medium stick movements. Okay. Now, that doesn't really mean anything at the moment because we're going to... Our response curve we're going to be altering with the dampen and the boost. So we go down to horizontal ADS sensitivity. I've got 2.6, which is extremely low. That's just because I'm useless at making fine adjustments, so I need it to be low so I don't keep going off target. My vertical at 2.5. Horizontal scoped, I've got a 1.7, and the vertical scoped is 1.5. Now we go down here. Hold jump to climb. I've got that on. Now, for reference, I'm using a Xbox Elite Series 2, and I use paddles on the back. Okay, so I can jump and slide with the paddles. And when I'm climbing, because I've been playing on keyboard and mouse, I'm used to having to hold space. I know you can turn it off on keyboard and mouse as well, but I like to have it so that if I want to stop climbing, I just let go of the jump. I find that a lot easier. But if you're playing regularly with a normal controller, no paddles, you might want to have auto jump on. Also, a thing to note at this point is there is a known bug in the game where you can't turn the camera as you climb. This is extremely frustrating, and the devs know about it and they're working on it. It was supposed to be squashed for this update, but it's managed to slip through the cracks, as some bugs like to do. Anyway, let's move on. Vibration intensity. Now, if you're playing on a controller and you want to actually compete in the game, turn that off. I know the PS5 has the haptic feedback and all that nonsense, but you want to turn the vibration right the way down. And the reason being for that is it is nothing but a distraction. It might make you feel more immersed in firing the weapons, but all it's going to do is impair your ability to play. So turn that off if you want to, you know, if you want to play sweaty. Enable slowdown aim assist, I've got that on. Enable rotation aim assist, I've got that on. We want as much aim assist as we can get. And then we want to click on the advanced options so that brings down everything else. Now, dampen. This is a bit of a weird setting for most people because it's not really something you see often, but when stick movement is registered, there's an initial dampening of the turn speed. This allows for small adjustments by tapping the stick. That doesn't really give us too much detail about how this is going to affect our gameplay. So what I'm calling this is, I'm just going to call dampen slowdown, because all it's going to do is, like, as I'll go through these settings, when you start to aim, you won't just be at like maximum turn speed, or as we get to the boost, you won't just go maximum turn speed into boost, because that's going to make you fly all over the place. All right, so I've turned this on and I've gone with horizontal dampening multiplier is a 0.34. You could just put that 0.3. Again, you're going to have to change all these, but this is just a template to get you started. Vertical dampen multiplier is 0.34. The dampen zone, I put 0.1. Now, the dampen zone is how far does the stick move before the dampening of this slowdown effect, before it kicks in, okay? And 1.0 will be the stick all the way to the edge. You know, so if I was doing that, it'd be like an all the way to the edge. Where do we want that dampen zone to come in? We want it basically at the beginning of our turns, right? Because if you're trying to aim at somebody, you don't want to fly off target. You want that little bit of slowdown. And also, and I'll go into this later on in the video, but with these sort of settings, it does make the aim assist feel better. I feel like I'm locking onto dudes because I'm not oversteering them, and imagine like the hitbox around the enemy where the slowdown is going to take effect. I don't want to like oversteer out of that and then have to try and readjust by the way the whole time they're shooting you. Do you know what I mean? It's going to get you killed. So that's the dampen zone. Okay, so I put that as a 0.1 because I want it basically as soon as I start turning. That's when I want the dampening to come in. Now, dampen time. Now, if you look at the graph here, imagine the straight line is like our maximum speed of turning. Yeah. Time from when the dampen starts to when the player reaches normal sensitivity. 0 is no dampening. Sorry. 1 will dampen the stick for a full second. Okay. So dampen time is how much slowdown is there going to be before we reach our normal sensitivity. I've got that at a 0.86. You might want to have that lower. Honestly, it's subjective, but this has been working for me. Okay. Horizontal ADS dampen multiplier. This is for when you are ADSing, obviously. I also wanted some slowdown on that because I didn't want to oversteer, so I've gone with 0.53, and I've matched it with the vertical for pretty much the only setting, which is a 0.53. Horizontal scoped dampen multiplier, I've got a 0.6. Vertical scoped dampening multiplier, I've got a 1. I don't want any vertical because, as I said before, the vertical seems to be favored in this game and it flies you all over the place. On to the next setting. Sorry, I know this is going to be like a really wordy video and I don't usually do videos like this. Enable boost. When the stick is held past a threshold, there is a boost of turn speed. This allows for big adjustments while boosting and small adjustments while not boosting. So this is basically the aim acceleration that was like baked into the game beforehand. Before we had in these settings to even turn it off, this was on and it was making us remember when you're trying to turn, you'd just be spinning around doing 360s when you didn't want to, because this aim acceleration would kick in. Remember, when you're in gunfights, your hand's not going to be the most calm thing, is it? Like if I'm turning the stick and I'm trying to track someone, I might accidentally push really hard to the edge of the stick and it would spin me around and it would just ruin the gunfight, right? So I want it on because I don't want my low sense to be continuous throughout my turn, because when I want to do 180s, I want to be able to do 180s, you know? So I needed that on. I tried with it off, it didn't feel good, so I've turned it back on, but we've got it at a very low, very low. Horizontal boost multiplier, I've only done a 1.08. And my vertical boost multiplier, again, I know this is crazy because none of this is cohesive with each other, but it works for me. Okay, I've got a 1.1 on the vertical boost multiplier. Boost zone, again, exactly like the dampen zone. This is where the stick has to go before the boost kicks in, and I wanted that right at the edge, because you don't want the boost to be kicking in halfway through your turn and you start spinning around. You might find that different though. That's just for me. Okay, I don't want to be spinning, because when I'm tracking, I generally am doing I'm fully hitting the analog stick to either side when I'm tracking, and I don't want that to affect. You know, if I had it on before 1, I'd be oversteering all the time. But again, it might work for you. It doesn't work for me. Boost ramp delay. So this is exactly like the dampen one. It's how much time it takes between you hitting the full analog turn before the boost kicks in. And with this kind of thing, you might want to have the boost zone lower, but the boost ramp delay higher, so that you won't do what I was saying earlier, where you oversteering constantly. But this is what I've got. You can use it as a template. Right, I've got that at a 0.3. Okay, and the boost ramp time, it's the time it takes to reach the new multiplier of your turn speed. I know this is stupidly wordy. So you've set your boost or acceleration, okay, to how much extra speed you want when you're turning. And this is going to be how much time it takes to reach that new speed. So when the boost kicks in, it won't just go boom, and you're gonna go flying. You can make it more gradual to reach that speed. It just makes it easier to control. Because obviously beforehand we were turning all over the place. It was horrible. It was horrible. Okay, but now that setting we can alter for this. Horizontal ADS boost multiplier, I've got a 1.56, and the vertical ADS I've got a 1.4. Horizontal scoped boost multiplier, I've just got a 1, and vertical 1. I don't want any boost on my scopes because you want to be making fine adjustments. You don't unless you're doing trick shots. Like, feel free, if you are a trick shot or on controller, feel free to bump that up. But anyway, those are my settings. Okay. I'll probably put an overlay on here so we've got everything in one go. But like I said before, these are completely subjective. This is just what's working for me. But once we've got these settings down here to where we want them, this is what I meant about the master control. Then we go up here, and when we want to alter stuff, we can just move these. And the ADS, horizontal, vertical, and the scoped. That's the theory behind it. And then hopefully we'll be able to craft your personal settings for you that will work like I have for me. I still think that there are the known bugs on the controller from my time with it are not being able to look around while climbing. This is utterly horrible. And there seems to be an issue with the aim assist not kicking in certain ranges, which makes long range assault rifle battles way harder than they need to be. I hope this can get fixed. I will pass this on to the devs as well. But anyway, I'll leave you with some of the gameplay I got for these settings. Just a quick video today. Like I said, don't usually do tutorial videos, not really my bag, but popular request, and I did say I was going to go through these with you guys. If this video has helped you at all, and you've managed to get something from it, please hit the like button for me, and subscribe if you're new. I make loads of Bloodhunt content. We've got loads more stuff coming up. If you want to see me play live and come hang out, you can follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description, and also follow me on Twitter if you want to message me directly. But anyway, until next time, guys, I'll see ya when I'm looking at you.